Hello guys, gals and gamers, and welcome back to another video. Before we begin, I would like to remind you guys to please like and subscribe. Also, comment down below because I really want to start a discussion with my videos. That said, let's get right into the actual topic of the video. Today we are talking about a very interesting topic, and that is games that you just feel intimidated to go back to. There are plenty of reasons why you might feel this, and that's exactly what we are going to kind of cover today. So let's look at the reasons why you might feel intimidated to go back to a video game, and what should the game be doing at that point. Let's look at game design a bit, and then what can you do personally to kind of get over this intimidation, because feeling intimidated to get back to any entertainment property is not really the intention or good ever. So there has to be something we can do about it. So let's start off with kind of the first category of why you might feel intimidated to go back into a video game. That is, of course, the gameplay, and you just don't remember how to play the game anymore. You played a game for a while. It was fun, but it was a bit complicated, you feel. And something came up, you stop playing, blah blah blah, it happens. And then you want to go back to it, and then you're just like, how did I play this again? I've had certainly this happen to me a few times, most recently with Xenoblade Chronicles 2, where I was mostly done with that game just a couple of hours before the final boss, and I was stuck in a boss battle, and then I just quit because other games came along. But years after, I wanted to finish it for whatever reason, and then I realized, oh yeah, the battle mechanics in this game are quite complicated. How can I actually go about doing this? So what the game should do is what Xenoblade Chronicles 3 actually did, the sequel, is just have you reread or retry the tutorials given to you. If you don't know how to battle anymore, it is good that the game offers you a chance to learn again. Then there's also custom difficulty options that are really good. If the game is a bit too hard for you with the current skill set that you have, there is no shame in putting the game on easy. It's just, fine, completely fine. No shame about it. Playing on easy, you can do it, whatever. And the things that you can do personally is also just watch guides online on how to play the game. If it is a popular game and you feel like the mechanics are a bit complicated, there probably is a guide or two on how to actually play it. Then what you can do is also go back to earlier areas in the game. Try something a bit easier. If it's a platformer, go to like a previous world, try out some of the stages, see how you do. If it's an RPG, go to an earlier area and try to beat up some enemies that are still a bit of a challenge, but make you kind of think about the battle mechanics in the game. Next thing in the game that might feel intimidating to you is the story itself. This is very true for long RPGs, where the story in general can be like 80 hours long to complete the game. And imagine being at like that 60-hour mark, where you still got a bunch of solid gameplay left, but you just kind of forgot what the story was, and you don't want to replay 60 hours just to get to the point where the story picks up again, and then you remember everything. So starting over again might not be a good option either. So what the game could do is just to allow players watch previous cutscenes and story moments from the game itself, so like a settings menu or something else. And then there's also good to have like a journal item that I have seen in some games. The only one I can think of is, I think, Life is Strange, and then Pokemon Diamond and Pearl, for some reason, the originals at least, had like this journal feature, like what did you do last time when you played the game? And then also including like story moments from the character's perspective. The character is kind of like writing a journal of their adventure in the game so far, so that is interesting. Just to get the player caught up on what was going on again. Then what you can do is you can try to read some story summaries or watch the cutscenes from YouTube. But here I would be a bit careful because it is easy to get spoiled on things. Spoiled on story, plot twist, or story scenarios or character arcs that they go through. So here, be careful if you're doing this. But if it's the only option, then it is the only option. But just saying, be a bit careful. The third thing on this list of why you might feel intimidated is that you no longer have friends to play the game with. This is very common for multiplayer games. Think about you played Smash Brothers a lot with your bros in college, and now you wanna, play Smash Brothers again, but it doesn't feel the same going to play that game without your friends anymore. And that is completely understandable, and there is no guaranteed way to fix this. Maybe your friends, they are busy, maybe they have other important duties like raising children or something else that's weird instead of playing Smash Brothers with you. So, okay, sure, understandable, I guess. So you might not get your friends back. You can ask them if you want, but there are other solutions. Games, what they can do is just offer single player content. You don't have to play with anyone if you don't want to. There's single player stuff. If you want to challenge the CPUs, if they're difficult or challenging, that is great. And then there's also online matchmaking. You can just have battles online with random strangers, but there's still, the social aspect missing that you probably crave here instead of the challenge outright. So for that, what you can do is just find a Discord channel or something for the game. If it is a popular game, there probably is still a fandom existing for it. If it's an old game, it might not be that big, but it still exists, and they would probably be thrilled to have more people join and more people to play with. So get in touch with them and see if there's anyone nice, see if the game's still something you want to keep playing, and maybe make some new friends. That's always fun. A game can be intimidating as well because it just has too much content. Imagine playing a game, blah blah blah, you stop playing, whatever, but then there's a new update, some cool update, something really cool that you just have to try out comes to the game. But then you open the game up or research it a bit online, and then you find out that, oh, there is quite a lot that you actually have to do in order to get access to this content. Maybe it's playing the game through all over again, or maybe it is reaching a certain level. And this can be very harsh. Can be feel like, oh, there's so much to do, maybe I shouldn't. And yeah, it's not a fun feeling. What the games could do is allow the player to skip to the new content, but this is always not possible if there's, for example, the new content is using a mechanic that was previously introduced, but you as a player that just went away for a while don't understand or don't have the ability to master it just yet. So maybe that is not the best option. It's of course nice if the update was just there for everyone to get to, but that is, again, not always possible. So what you can do here is just research it online, research what exactly you need to do, which are the quests that you have to complete, or how can I level up faster so I can get to level 50 and I can try out the new content, some stuff like that. Sometimes the game tells you like what quest you need to do in order to get access to this new content, but that might not be enough in some cases when they just tell you the quest's name and you don't even have it. Then it's just like... Another reason a game can feel intimidating is just because it has changed quite a lot. And I'm not talking just about something like World of Warcraft, where the classic version is very, very different to the modern take, and there was like no one point where the game just completely changed. It was just all a gradual change. But this also applies to something like fighting games. Again, an example is Smash Brothers. Imagine playing Smash Brothers in like 2019, coming back to it, there's 50 new characters, that's a lot. So what the game could do is just provide the user easy access to what has really changed. What do you need to be prepared for? If it's a fighting game with new characters, have an ability to fight those characters easily. Maybe they're DLC, then you would have to buy them, but in that case, just get a friend who has the DLC, play against them, play as those characters for a while and get to know them. But here again, what you can do personally is just research it online and just, try to find people that can teach you the new stuff. If you are a relapsed player, just go to a Discord channel like, hey, I haven't played for a few years, can someone like catch me up on what has changed about the game? The last thing here on this list, and what kind of inspired me to make this list, is that the game just simply punishes you for not playing for a while. And this is something that rarely happens, but it happens with games that are very time-based. A good example of this, and the best example, is Animal Crossing. Animal Crossing is a game where you basically live in like a virtual village, which moves in real time. If it's December 1st for you, it is December 1st in the Animal Crossing village. If it is morning 6 p.m. for you, then it is morning 6 p.m. in the Animal Crossing game as well. And in the game, you just basically move into a village, you take care of the villagers, plant some flowers, fish, do all of these tasks. It's just basically a relaxation game. But if you don't play it for a while, things can go a bit messy. All of the flowers that you planted, they might have died because there's no one to, water them. The villagers, they might not recognize you anymore, and that feels bad because you kind of like this weird duck creature that you had in your town. And, there's plenty of like negative effects for not playing. And what the games could do in this situation is just not punish the player, set limits to what the negative effects are, because this is not good game design. I get it, going for realism and then having stuff you need to do daily unless things go bad, but if the player just can't play for months, maybe they lose the cartridge or something and find it months later, don't punish the player. It's not a good option. So finding ways to at least limit the punishment a bit. If you need to have it for the sake of realism or something, then just limit it. Don't make it too bad, and offer options for the player to get everything kind of back to normal in somewhat quick way. Maybe just like 30 minutes and okay, we're back in the groove. Fun. And what you can do yourself is just try to find ways to overcome these possible punishments yourself. Are there any mechanics that you can use in the game to get rid of the bad stuff a bit quicker, or maybe cheat the time a bit so the game thinks you were only gone for a few days instead of a few years, and find out when were you last playing and switch the system clock and see if that works. It could be something that works, you never know. But this is a very weird thing, and thankfully this is the games never usually punish you that much for not playing for a while, so that is incredibly rare, but just basically for Animal Crossing what I can think of. But that is my video. Are there any other reasons that a game can feel intimidating to you? Let me know in the description. No, let me know in the comments below and I will be sure to answer you. But I have nothing else to say now, so I will just see you guys next time. Bye bye.